DJ Jermaine Morgan here, and today I want to give you a few tips to help you relax. Stay tuned. Welcome back. I hope you really had a chance to sit with the lick that I broke down on last week. If you haven't checked it out, please go back and check that video out. Some good stuff and you're missing out on it. Today I want to talk to you about something, or rather kind of give you some ideas that can help you along the way with your practicing. Let me say this before I even get into this subject. Most of the things that I come share with you guys are some things that I've probably dealt with on a personal level, or I know someone who's dealt with the same thing. More than likely, 90% of the time, it's stuff that I've dealt with on a personal level. So it's things that affected me in my playing, and I've found a way around it, or I'm learning a way around it to better help me to get through my playing, get through my practice time, even better serve you when I'm giving you ideas of things to practice on. Now, one of the things I noticed in my playing is that at certain points in my playing, when I get around certain people, or when I get around people in general, it's like I would have brain freeze. I couldn't remember anything. I could sit there and practice and play and come up with all kind of stuff when it's just me in a room by myself and just play some off the wall crazy stuff. But on the other hand, when I would get in front of a group of people, I would completely go blank and couldn't think of one thing to play. So if that's ever happened to you, let me know in the comment section below. Don't let me feel like I'm out here by myself. If that ever happened to you, definitely comment and let me know. Yeah, that's me. So I got something I feel like that would help you guys that may deal with that or still fighting and dealing with that from time to time. One thing, I was scrolling through my Instagram feed and I seen this drummer, well-known drummer, and he made a statement that I've heard years ago, but you know how you hear things and sometimes you actually forget them. He made this statement. It was so simple but yet so profound to me. He made a simple statement that says, "Play as if no one's watching." Light bulbs went off and just flashing everywhere, because I'm like, that's it. It's that simple. A lot of times we put extra stress on ourselves. I know me in particular, we could put a lot of extra stress on ourselves because we immediately shut down, and there's this performance mode we go into, and when we start thinking about don't make mistakes, what's gonna happen? You're gonna make a mistake. You're gonna do something wrong. It's like your first impression that you're trying to make with someone, and in the back of your mind, it's like, don't say anything crazy, don't say nothing stupid. So you got this thing happening. It's the same thing when we're playing. It's like we got this thing, we want to give our best, and so that anxiety that comes with that sometimes causes us to freeze up, and it causes the creative juices to stop flowing, because now there's this anxiety on I have to produce. So most of the time what we revert back to is our muscle memory, and a lot of the new ideas that we create or we spend in our practice time just flowing with, they're not there. You've reverted back to muscle memory, which means you're just going through the motion. And if you haven't perfected your muscle memory stuff, a lot of times you'll lose your train of thought because you're not thinking. You're just thinking, let me not mess up, and trying to remember the last lick that you played or the last line or something cool that you did. Now you have no clue. So a thing that you can do is remember, play as if no one else is watching. I'm a band director, so in situations, I find myself a lot of times comfortable playing in front of a lot of people, because I know at those times when I'm leading the band, I'm not focused as much on what I'm doing. Even though I know what I'm doing, I'm very aware of everything that I'm playing, but I'm more focused on the entire band and what the keyboard player is doing, what the drummer is doing, what the guitar player is doing, the organ player, and so on, whoever's in the band. When I'm focused on them, I'm not focused as much on what I'm doing, so the anxiety for me leaves because it's not all this attention. I don't have this microscope going on my bass while I'm trying to play. It's like the focus is elsewhere. So I'm taking my attention off of my instrument. And so that's the second thing that you could do. Try not to focus all of your attention on yourself and your instrument. Focus on other things in the room. Even if you Even if you start to get distracted with seeing something that's on the floor that shouldn't be, anything that helps to take your attention and that anxiety off. Now, the thing about that, now let me add this before we go too far in. The thing about that is make sure that you do know the music and you have practiced the music well, but also try not to focus so much on playing everything right that you actually become a stumbling block for your own self. You want to make sure that you take some of that energy and some of that anxiety off of yourself by worrying about everything and just pay attention to what's going on in the room. You might find something funny that's happening in the room and it loosens you up. And when you loosen up, when you laugh, you loosen up. Or even when you tap into another emotional thing, just like for you musicians who may play in church. And it doesn't have to just be church, but church is one of the easier ones to pull on as far as from an emotional standpoint, because a lot of things happen at church and you can be caught up in the emotion of the song and that kind of thing. Or the spirit of the song, and so you're taken away by that, and you're not focusing so much on what you're doing. You're aware, but you're not completely concentrating on everything you're doing here. So it takes a lot of the stress off of what you're doing here, and you notice you can play more freely. Now, it's the same thing, and most of the time when these things happen, it happens under the grounds of improvisation. So we start focusing on everything we want to play. But if you could take your mind off of that, now that leads me to my third point that I want to make. If you could take your mind off of that, one of the good ways to do that is by simply turning on something when you practice. Not every time. We have those dedicated practice times that we want to spend and we want to really isolate and see everything we're doing, listening to the tone and all this kind of stuff. But sometimes it's good to just pull out your bass or your instrument and turn the TV on, or turn YouTube on, or turn the computer on. Let your social media or something go. Not so you can be distracted, but so you can actually just sit there. Sometimes I'll pull up something on my phone and I'll just have it, I'll just have it just going, and I'm just, it don't have to make sense. It's just really just kind of getting my fingers to going and loosening my hands up. And I'm aware again of what I'm playing. I'm practicing new ideas, but my focus is not completely on what I'm playing. I'm checking out what's going on over here. Now with my mind, I'm learning how to multitask with my mind, because I'm checking out, okay, whatever the video, whatever it is I'm interested in. I'm a history kind of guy. I like history and I like cars. So I might pull up a video on like a car conversion or some type of history thing, and I'm watching it and I'm playing at the same time, but my focus is not completely on what I'm playing. Even though I'm working on it, I'm working on speed, I'm working on all these different things, but it's not so intense to where I'm getting frustrated. It's like a no-brainer, like I'm just sitting here watching something. And sometimes the stuff will be in time. All the time, it doesn't have to be in time. It doesn't have to be a groove. It's just really getting your fingers used to that muscle memory of moving around the fretboard, and whatever comes out, allowing that to happen without feeling so restricted to I have to play. It's allowing your hands to be free and to move around instead of feeling like I got to be locked into a song all the time. You know what I'm saying? So when we're doing that, we're locked into it. We're thinking about groove and pocket and all this kind of stuff. A lot of times that's the main focus, but it's good sometimes to take your mind off of that and to just allow yourself to move around. It's almost like if you were an athlete, there are a lot of exercises that you do that's simply for training purposes and getting you ready and getting you conditioned. But sometimes it's good to just jog. It's just good to build up that durability, endurance, that kind of thing, and just so you're conditioning your body, you're conditioning your hands, you're conditioning your mind to be able to tap into that thing whenever you need to. And now that you've been playing and not putting so much emphasis on trying to do everything right, it opens you up to be able to do more. So hopefully these are some things that will help you to become more fluent in your playing, to help you to relax and take so much emphasis off on trying to be this and trying to be that, and just enjoy this instrument and enjoy the journey of learning. So if you want this lesson, remember the link is in the description below, and also be sure to grab your Jermaine Morgan merchandise, and I will see you guys on next week. I'm out. Peace. Hey, thanks for watching today's video, and listen, if you enjoyed the content, click the subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on my notifications so you can be notified each week once I post a new video. I really appreciate you guys being here, and check it out. If you want more content like this, and if you want to get even more in depth on the bass lessons, remember to head over to JermaineMorgan.net. There I have many more bass lessons. I talk a little bit more in depth on some of these subjects that we've covered here on YouTube, and I also have music. Most of you don't know, but I am an artist as well, so I do have music available there if you want to hear me really play. I have music there, so check it out, and I will see you guys on next week. Thank you. I'm out of here.